All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of VetterView. Believe it or not, we are at episode 22, and our next guest is Taylor Lay. If you want to tell people who you are, man, what branch you served in, and the time frame that you were in.
Yep. Name's Taylor Lay. Served in the United States Marine Corps January 5th, 2015 to January 4th, 2019. I was in 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines with old Rubio here.
Fucking yeah, 2-7. Um, so we'll start at the beginning, man. Where are you originally from?
Born and raised in Warner Robins, Georgia. It used to be a small town right in middle Georgia,
Right.
just south of Macon. That's probably the closest city anybody would be familiar with.
Yeah, I don't fucking know any
Uh,
of that side.
yeah, about 2 hours away from Atlanta, just south, right in the
Oh,
middle of the
gotcha.
state. I was born there, raised there until I joined the Marine Corps.
Was it a small town? Is that or what would you say kind of motivated you to join the Marine Corps?
Well, it's, small town
Yeah.
as I was growing up, you know, cow pastures, dirt roads, just very small town feel. And then just as, life progressed and I grew up, there's an Air Force base there.
Oh, really?
And it kept growing, growing, and growing. I guess people were moving there, retiring there, and the whole town just started to expand south. So the north side of the town is like the old part, and then just
Mm-hmm.
everything south is just the newer developments and all that. So every time I go home, when I do go home, there's something always new.
Hmm.
So that was cool for a while, but now every time I go home, it's not even
It's not even it's
really.
it's not enjoyable.
Yeah,
But
it's just
so
so many people and so many new things.
yeah, so you would say that the fact that that your town was growing, that's what kind of motivated you to join the military, or was there any sort of like big influence in your life besides that Air Force base there?
Yeah, yeah. I love this question because many people don't. If you didn't know me beforehand, you probably wouldn't expect it of me. But I had no ambition to join the military whatsoever. I had some like thoughts when I was younger.
Sure.
Just I feel like any young boy would.
Yeah.
Watching my grandpa took me to see like Saving Private Ryan when I was like 7 years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
Uh,
like, yeah, get him.
so like those times, but then as I got older into high school and everything, something I didn't like to be told what to do. Uh, I was a rebel, man. I was a outlaw,
Yeah.
pushing back on anybody and everything, any kind of authority. So nah, I did some stupid shit. I was doing a lot of dumb things. Started out just like smoking weed and doing some other drugs, and it progressively just got worse and more. I just got further and further down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, you were just
And
going
then
in
I
the
went
wrong
off.
direction.
Oh yeah, big time. And I had some things going for me. I was assigned a D1 football scholarship. Went off to play football right after I graduated high school. And unfortunately, I was still doing some dumb things down there. Fell way behind in my grades and whatnot. So it's a long story behind all of that.
Yeah.
And then I ended up coming back, not knowing what I wanted to do, was working, going to school, junior college, still doing some dumb things. And
Sure.
I had a buddy get arrested and almost, I kind of hit a dark patch right then and there.
Yeah.
Whenever I came back from school, I feel like I let a lot of people down. A lot of people wouldn't really talk to me. So I faced that kind of adversity beforehand too. So
Right.
that's kind of what motivated me to join. Honestly, was a lot of people told me they were so proud of me whenever I went off to college and whatnot. And then when I came back, everyone was just like, "What the hell did you do?" Like a lot of rumors got started about me and
Damn.
whatnot. So kind of isolated myself.
Yeah,
And
especially it being a small town, right? Where shit
oh
just
yeah,
fucking
oh,
travels around.
everybody knows everybody. I'd
Yeah.
walk into, you know, Walmart or Kroger, Publix, wherever, and I'd run into 5 or 6 people,
Yeah.
and they always, some wouldn't even talk to me at all. Some people I've known forever, and then some people would just want to come up and ask me so many like personal questions.
Jeez.
Why did that happen and whatnot? So I needed to get out of that situation, and I didn't. There was nothing to do in my town, so walked in. Had a guy that was a year younger than me. He
Mm-hmm.
played football. We got to talking, and he was joining, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll check it out. And
Fuck it, I'll see
I
what's
remember
up.
going on. I remember going on to the Marine Corps website and just clicking like request more information, and I swear it was like 30 minutes later I got a phone call. And yeah, I went and Sergeant Dunlap was my original recruiter. And I went and talked to him and really didn't need much explanation, man. I kind of had my mind set that I was going to send myself away. And if I was going to do it, I was going to do it right
Damn.
and join the Marine Corps, not the Air Force.
So you were gonna go out?
No,
No, you're not. No, you're not.
no offense.
No, no, you're not. Don't lie, dude. You don't have to lie. It's okay. It was a challenging branch. We'll call it that. It was something that was challenging, and you wanted to see if you can fucking, get through that, right?
Yeah, I think I related it to football. That's really the only thing I could relate it to, really.
So were you pretty fucking
I mean,
fit prior to joining the military, like right before you joined the Marine Corps?
so I would say my freshman year of high school, I was about 5'9", 185 pounds. Sophomore year, I jumped up to about 6'2", probably like 220, 225. And
Damn.
then I played tight end in high school, and then they moved me to left tackle on the O-line. And I ended up graduating high school about 275, about 6'3" and a half, 275.
Dude.
Um, and they recruited me as a left tackle at Georgia Southern University. And then also I ran some like tight end on like the scout team and stuff my freshman year when I got redshirted. So I was a
Yeah.
slim 275, and then they got me all the way. They wanted me to hit 315, but I never
Damn.
could break 300. I got to like 295. So that's what I left college at. And then by the time I joined the Marine Corps, I dropped all the way down to like 225.
Was that within the
Uh,
height and weight shit? Is that why?
I think my weight limit was like 220, but if I got down to like 225 or below, sub 230, I believe that was my like ship weight.
Wow.
But honestly, I really didn't even have to do much. I wasn't really, I just wasn't eating as much as they forced me to in
Yeah.
college. I had somebody follow me around, making sure I was eating. I was on a weight gain
No
program. Like,
shit. Holy crap.
oh yeah,
Double
I would have
rats.
to. I would take like a gallon bag of trail mix with me to class every day. Uh,
Damn.
I'd have to finish it off. They'd make me eat like 2 peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables before practice, like while we were
What the
watching film.
fuck? Just
I used
pack
to,
you
I
with
used to,
sugar and shit.
oh dude, I used to give them to my roommate. He was on a weight loss program, and I would sneak them to him because
You
I
guys are
just
all
was so sick
switched
of
up.
eating, man. Oh yeah,
He's over
I
there
was so
getting
sick of
bigger.
eating.
You're just staying the same. Wow, that's crazy how
So,
how intense they are with that shit, huh?
oh yeah, it was a. I mean, yeah, we'd get up early in the morning, drinking protein shakes after workouts in the morning, and then I can't remember what our strength and conditioning coach's name was. I could see his face. I don't remember, but yeah, he would just. We had these like 55-gallon like drums full of trail mix, and he would just go and just scoop me a gallon bag and be like, "Finish it by the time you get back."
What the fuck?
And it would just, yeah, just constantly, all day, every day. If I missed a meal, it got noted, and someone would ask me like why I missed a meal,
What?
because there were people at the. I want to keep wanting to say chow hall, whatever the hell you call it,
Cafeteria?
cafeteria.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, there'd be somebody there with a clipboard checking me in, make sure I ate. Somebody checking me
Wow.
in at class.
And are,
They
are
do
they
curfew,
paying you at this time or no?
paying your ass with a free ride to
With the
college.
scholarship, right? Damn.
Yeah, you don't see any cash, but yeah, you get your, you get your housing, and then you have all your room and board, your tuition, book, everything's paid for.
Wow.
I guess the only way that you can technically get paid is when you get your refund check. You don't have to give it back to the school, so you can just pocket that. So
Mm,
I didn't get much though. It was like $1,000,
mm.
which at 18 years old seems like a lot.
Yeah. Now you're like, fuck. You see a
thousand
thousand
dollars.
dollar paycheck right now, you're like, oh man, a little bit more would be nice. Um,
Oh.
so you fucking joined the Marine Corps. Um, you picked, what was your MOS again?
So I went in not knowing what the hell I wanted to do,
You went
and I
open?
pretty much no, I didn't go open. I pretty much walked in. They ran through the spiel of MOSs,
Right,
and
as
I
they do.
pretty much was like, look, to be honest, I don't want to do this. That sounds like something I'd hate, like water purification or something. I would hate that.
Yeah.
Just anything like that, I turned down. But I told him whatever can get me out of here the
Mhm.
fastest, hook me up. And he gave me, I want to say calm was one.
Mhm.
Um, and then I want to say there was something along the lines of like motor T,
I can see that.
and maybe one other, like a freaking fridge mechanic or fridge tech or
Like an
something.
HVAC mechanic or some shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do just like I wanted to do something, I guess, unique to the military and
Sure.
not like something that is so common in the civilian world, I guess, so to say. So yeah,
Right.
I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll do comm,
Yeah.
whatever. I had great GT score. I had great ASVAB score. And they pretty much told me that I could pick any job in the Marine Corps except for there was like two or three that I couldn't
Damn.
select, but pretty much everything was open.
Nice. My options were not that wide.
Oh
It's a little on the slower side. No, but yeah. I went and opened a contract just so I could get the fuck out of there. It took me forever to try to get in. Um, but I think it's because I wasn't in high school. I don't know if it took you forever or did it end up working out as soon as you got like calm? Was it a specific title?
no, so it was a com like a 06XX basically.
Oh, gotcha.
So I wasn't specifically an RO.
Right. And they
So
told you that
yeah,
at the end of boot camp, right?
they told me straight up. They were like, most com guys are radio operators, but you have a chance of going to data or whatever else. And that was something that kind of was in the back of my mind because I hate. I mean, you can ask all the guys down at, all my peers. I
Yeah.
hate anything to do with computers. I guess it's kind of ironic. Anything to do with computers or technology, I can't stand. I hate computers.
Yeah.
but but yeah, I was in com.
Especially trying
Everyone
to
always
repair them.
thinks that everyone always thinks that you can fix computers and printers and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I mean, did I just know how to freaking program a radio and
Yeah, yeah.
talk?
Know how to use one. That's it. Change channels, same
Oh
frequencies,
yeah.
whatever. Fuck. So did you have any idea how the Marine Corps boot camp or any of that was, or did you just kind of go in blind?
I would. I knew a few. I knew two Marines
Right.
beforehand that I spoke to, and they were kind of they gave me some information, some tips or whatever, but kind of just like a see for yourself kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit of like Google research and stuff like that, and I pretty much I went in knowing that I was going to get yelled at a lot,
Yeah.
and that there really wasn't anything that was going to stop me from getting yelled at, or
Right.
I could only cause myself to get yelled at more, but in the end
Mm.
I was going to get yelled at regardless. So it's kind of just I went in with the mindset, just suck it up and get through.
Right. Well, that's a good
It is
mindset
what it
because
is.
I feel like a lot of people try to go with that mindset, and because I saw some guys fucking cry. I don't know if you got to see some people crying in there, but
Oh,
Um,
fuck yeah.
I got to see some fucking people crying in there, but I think it's because I don't know if they've ever been around that sort of environment or I don't know.
Well,
I,
yeah, I was a little. I guess it was a lot of people that I know. I mean, there's a few that were older that joined, but most people were coming in fresh out of high school.
yeah,
I had like a year and a half of, I won't say real world experience because it definitely wasn't,
it
but
wasn't. It was like a little
uh,
demo.
I was down in college, but I was living off of the school's money, and
Yeah,
yeah, I had a place to live and all that. But yeah, I had that experience. So I was a little bit older than everybody, not by a crazy margin or anything.
right.
We had somebody in my platoon, 27,
Same.
but I turned 20 in boot camp.
Hmm.
Um, and there was a lot of there was some people that were mostly my age, but then I would say for the most part, everyone else was like straight out of high school,
Yeah,
18,
like barely 18,
fresh.
right?
Yeah, and I think that was good for me going through football
Fuck
in
yeah.
college and in high school. My high school was we're the football school of my town, so my coaches were very hard on us.
Very
You know,
intense.
we got yelled at, hit, whatever. That wasn't uncommon for me, so it
Yeah,
was
but they're
whatever
people
at that
putting their
point.
hands on you and shit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
every day.
Fuck. What was I gonna say? Do you think, looking back at it now, right? Do you think, um, 18 and joining the military is a sound decision that an 18-year-old is capable of making?
It might
Just
not
curious,
be.
just curious, cause if I think back to 18, like holy fuck, what a difference.
I mean, it kind of has to be that way though. I don't think anyone
Well, they enlist
would
at seven. A lot of
logically
people
like.
enlist at 17, right?
Well, yeah, and most of it's I feel is just a lot of people not knowing what they want to do, or
Yeah,
they may not have the money to go to college,
that's
or
fair.
they might not think that they're smart enough to college, so they make those decisions. But I
Yeah.
think it's almost necessary for them to try to get younger kids because you go up to a 25-year-old that's been
Be
out of
like,
high
get the
school
fuck
living on
out of
his own.
here.
They're like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not trying to
yeah.
go
See,
fucking run 3 miles at 5 in the morning.
they kind of have to trap those, I guess, the younger kids to making those decisions, but it works out for them, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying it's 100% like sort of a negative thing because I mean, fuck, it helped me. It helped me get out of where I was at, and it gave me it put me in a queue for life. You know, I was like, all right, let's put life on pause and let's join the fucking Marine Corps, and then we'll go through that, and we'll get to life a little bit later, um, which is kind of what it feels like when you get out, to be honest, because you're like, all right, back into life. Oh shit, what the fuck do I
Yep.
do again? Um,
Just culture shock, man.
yeah, it's wild. So you obviously got through boot camp. You went through your MOS school. How was your first experience with 27? Get into the fleet. Second Battalion, 7th Marines. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so graduated boot camp, going through MCT and then getting sent out to 29. And then unfortunately, I remember everybody in my class, they're reading off the list of stations, and Hawaii's coming up,
You're like,
San
damn, I'm about to get
Diego,
lucky.
San Diego, and I'm just hoping something. I honestly, I was I was either hoping for San Diego
Hmm.
or honestly Japan. I did not want to go to North Carolina. I did not want to stay on the East Coast. Um, and now looking back, I'm glad I didn't go to Oki because I've heard some horror stories.
Me too.
But I definitely wanted to, if I could, utilize that experience to do some like traveling and whatnot. So that's something that I was looking forward to, if possible. But I'm glad that didn't happen.
I mean, you traveled.
I did travel. We did some traveling for sure.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, unfortunately, got rolled down to the hill to 27 and didn't have to take a flight or anything. Just dragged my sea bag a quarter
oof.
mile down the road, and I was at my duty station. But I was a little butthurt at first, but Victor unit's what I wanted.
Is that what you were going
And
after? Like, did you want to deploy and shit? Did you go with that idea already?
yeah, I joined the Marine Corps definitely with those thoughts in mind, wanting to go to the Middle East. Really just, I guess at the time when I was going through all that stuff that I spoke about, I really didn't care what the hell happened to me, to be honest. So I was like, just send me away. I'll do whatever. Just get me the fuck out of here. If that takes me over to Iraq, Afghanistan, wherever,
Yeah.
so be it. If I don't, whatever. But I definitely had those thoughts in mind, but it wasn't like a must have for me.
You're like, if it happens, it happens. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We'll cross
Yeah.
that bridge when we get there.
Wasn't gonna stress about it or
Yeah.
anything like that. So just kind of let it all fall into place.
Right. How'd your family feel about you joining the Marine Corps?
Well, I didn't tell them.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember going and talking to a recruiter. I remember my dad used to, back when I would get in trouble all the time, junior, senior high school, he'd always, you're gonna fuck up one day or you're gonna do something and your ass is gonna have to join. I think a Marine Corps like brochure came in the mail. He's like, they're gonna send your ass straight to the front line. You're carrying everyone's shit and blah 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 blah. I was like, fuck no, and that's never gonna be me. Never in my life. And
Hashtag
I remember
2016.
I remember going and I went to the website, requested the information, got the phone call. I almost disqualified myself. I remember that.
Really? How?
General questions like what's your name, what year did you graduate, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They ask you those qualifying questions.
Sure.
And at the time I didn't really give a fuck about anything. So I remember he's like, so you ever smoked weed before? I'm like, hell yeah, man. Like, who has?
Hell yeah, dude, you want to light up or what now?
Like, I'm just being an honest guy. And he's like, you ever smoked more than like 10 times? I'm like, yeah, like easily. And then he's like, what about more than 50? I'm like, yeah, probably like 50,000.
Oh, no. Like, just keep digging, bro.
I didn't even think about it. I don't know why I was so stupid, but I had no, I just wanted to call and just get some information.
Hey, you were being honest, dude.
Yeah, I was being honest, and I wasn't like committing myself to anything right then and there.
Right.
And this is a different recruiter, but he's like, unfortunately, that would disqualify you. So I'm gonna hang up, call you right back, and we're gonna try this again.
No way.
And he asked me the question. So he's like, so you told me you smoked marijuana. He's like, it was 37 times, right? And I was like, that's the number, man. That's right. So I did almost.
These recruiters are fucking animals, bro. They meet that quota.
He had to do what he had to do, and that ended up fucking with me later on whenever I went to MEPS.
Oh no!
I can't. Yeah, I remember going to MEPS, going through, and I went through the whole screening process and everything.
How weird is MEPS? Hold up. How weird is that place?
It's a strange place for sure.
It's a strange place, right? Like, what the fuck? They make you number one. It's a miserable fucking environment. It's just shitty all around. Like, you're in that building for hours.
You sit there with like 150 people for like 3 hours. Nobody tells you anything, and you're just waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, just fucking waiting. He's just sitting there. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut in. I just wanted to point out how terrible that fucking entry processing station or whatever the fuck it's called. It's where you go and you do a duck walk and do these weird stretches, and a doctor looks at your butthole and it's fucking weird.
Bend over and spread them.
Yeah, it's fucking straight. It's a weird experience, man. But go ahead. You almost fucked up your enlistment.
Yeah, it was strange. I remember at the end of all of that, we were just sitting back in the room for another like 2 or 3 hours, and they called me into the Marine Corps' little office, and it was like the head gunny at MEPS and all the recruiters that were there. There was probably like 10 sergeants and above in there, and they sit me down at the desk and close the door. And he's like, "So you smoked weed 37 times, huh?" And I was like, "Yep." And he hands me a clipboard. And he's like, "Number 1 through 37." He's like, "Tell me a time, a place, who you were with, this and that." I'm like, "What the fuck, man?" So I go back outside and I'm just making some bullshit up and just writing down all
they
kinds of
wanted
things.
time and place.
Oh yeah, I'm sweating. I'm like, fuck, like did I just fuck myself? I think because I wrote originally I put 37, and then like whenever they had me fill out some other paperwork, I think I put like 35 or 36.
Oh,
So
you
I mixed
fucked
up
it
the
up.
numbers or something.
Yeah.
So so he made me write all this down on a piece of paper. I walk back in, they close the door, and I remember he just like grabs it, he like rips the paper in half. He's like, "You expect me to believe this shit, motherfucker?" Like he's like, "Why are you lying to me?" Blah blah blah. And I remember just sweating. I'm just like, "God damn it!" Like I fucked up. And then literally
You
all of them just started busting out laughing.
do
And
they
they're like, "We're
really?
fucking with you, man." We're fucking with you.
What? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Cause they did
So I
play
died.
fucking hard asses, you know.
Oh yeah. There. That was my first, I guess, little fuck game that the Marine Corps ever
It's
played with me.
definitely a fuck game. That's something that you would have like some boots do, like, oh, go fucking write down this fucking 10 times and then throw it away
Yep.
or
Yep.
something.
But back to your question, yeah, I didn't tell my parents. I called them and all that shit happened. But I remember
Jeez.
telling my dad. I told my dad. I told my dad first, and he was kind of just in shock. But he was just he kind of knew the situation that I was in,
Yeah.
and he was kind of like, "You got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to tell you otherwise." There were some people that like pushed me to, you should join the Air Force or something. But
Mm.
I'd already made up my mind. I'd already signed my name down. Like I was already committed, even though I had told them that I had fully committed.
Right. You were
Um,
already in the DEP program or whatever it's called.
yeah, technically, but I worked a lot at the time. I was working two jobs, so I never really went to like any workouts, or I went to a few, but I was pretty much just on standby.
Wow.
And they told me like a date that was like 4 months out,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember them calling me one day and be like, "Hey, do you want to go on this such and such date?
Yeah.
It's right after Christmas." Because I think I signed in like late October, early November, and then I
Mm-hmm.
left January 4th is when I went back up to Atlanta to go to MEPS and then shipped out the next morning
Wow.
to boot camp. But yeah, my mom was devastated,
Oh, was she really?
devastated. Yeah, I remember going up to the recruiting office and getting on the buses to drive up to Atlanta to go to the recheck before you ship off, and she's just crying,
Damn.
hysterically crying, bawling, crying. I literally, I felt so bad, but I looked at her and I was like, "You gotta like leave. Like I can't be sitting here like waiting on this, and you're just like, you know, devastated and
Yeah.
bawling." So I asked her to leave. I couldn't take it. It was bad, man. Like it wasn't just like a weep little tear
Oh, it
here
was
and there. She was
like a like
yeah, completely
no.
lost it. And
Really?
I told my dad, I was like, "I'm sorry, like I love you, but like you got to get out of
I gotta get the fuck out of here.
here." So she ended up, giving me a hug, and then she waited the rest of the time in the car,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
my
my
mom
dad stood
cried as
there with me.
well.
But yeah, and then that was the last time I saw him until graduation.
Damn. Would you say that they kind of changed their perspective after you graduated? Like once they saw you actually like a Marine, do you think they treated it a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
differently?
for sure. My dad pretty much knew. I never met my grandfather, but he was in World War II, paratrooper World War II. So my
Damn.
dad, I guess, was used to military. I never met him. He died when my dad was only 17 or 18. It was my dad's senior year of high school. So I never got to meet him, but I guess my dad was, he knew a little bit about the military, even though he didn't serve himself.
Right.
So he kind of knew that the path that I was going down and what it kind of held for me, at least somewhat. My mom had no clue. She thought that I was just going to, Marine Corps, I'm going to deploy and get killed. That was her first thought.
Yeah.
But definitely after we came back from TQ that first time, her entire perspective changed. She was so happy to see me, but then she was also, you know, she was the moto mom, I
Oh, was she
guess.
supermodel?
No, she's got the Marine Corps mom sticker on her car,
Hell
and
yeah, dude.
she wants to tell everybody that her son's a Marine and whatnot. Which I'm just like, do all that, but
Yeah.
she wants to do it. Makes her feel good, makes her happy, makes her
Oh, she's
smile.
proud of you, man. Of course, she's proud of
Yeah,
you. Like it's not like a
yeah.
minor thing, you know. The Marine Corps is
Oh no, not
what
at all.
200,000, 250,000 people. It's a fucking tiny ranch. It's not a
Super tight.
small accomplishment. I feel like it's gonna, whether people like it or not, I think it's gonna affect you for your whole life. I think it was something
Oh,
that planted a seed in your fucking head, and it's just gonna be there. I think it's way more important than I think it's way more of a memory impact than high school was, to be honest.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's definitely, like I said, I was doing all that stuff before. It definitely not only changed my life, but honestly, like saved my life in many ways.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
man.
kept me from going down that path and kept me from making some very bad decisions repeatedly throughout, the younger years of my life. So I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful
Yeah.
for sure.
As much as it was rough.
Yeah,
um,
as rough as it was probably the best thing for sure.
Fuck yeah. Let's get back to your first receiving in 2-7. How was that for you, man?
So yeah, we remember going down. They came and picked us up. I can't remember. Oh, it was remember Fritch?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember Fitch.
Fritch was the face of 27 Com when he
Yep.
came and picked me up. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? But it was him. I think Keith Bates. I can't.
Fucking
There was
Bates.
somebody else. Deal with. I think
Deal with.
Deal with came up there. But yeah, I remember. I remember going down and just fuck this place. The barracks are ghetto. Just
I always called it the
you know.
ghetto part of 29 Bombs.
Oh, for sure. Like up on the top of the hill with com school, everything's nice, organized. The
Yeah.
chow halls are awesome, and then
You
you
go to the
just
east side, bro.
east
You
side's
see
like living
boots. You
in.
see boots on on wires, and you start seeing fucking shit going on, and
Oh yeah, bro. You got boots hanging from the not literal boots, not Marine Corps, not boots,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hanging from the power lines.
For some
People hanging out the
reason,
windows.
16 Marines on duty or something dumb.
Oh yeah, they pull up. There's guys hanging off the catwalks with, you know, nothing but their underwear on, freaking pounding like a bala, Evan Williams or something. Just
It's
who
a
the fuck are you? Just eerie feeling. And then just knowing that because you were, in my seniors peer group, so
yeah.
knowing that y'all had gotten back from deployment not too long ago, it's definitely a eerie feeling.
Were you?
But also
Would you say you were intimidated?
a little, yeah. I mean, I think anybody would be lying, just not
Yeah.
knowing what to expect.
Yeah. Or at least
But I'm all
nervous. Not even necessarily intimidated, but at least like, what the fuck's gonna happen here?
I would say nervous to see, what was to be expected, what I didn't know. But nervous of anyone,
Yeah.
not really, just because I've always been the type to not really take shit from people. So, I definitely,
It's a weird battalion to have that that energy to
yeah,
go into it.
yeah. I definitely, I remember making some smart ass comments, for sure. Put me in some hot water with some people, but, I went in, I let them, I knew they were going to fuck around with us.
Sure.
Didn't really let it bother me that much.
Yeah.
And just, I did what I was told to do for the most part. And, just again, same mentality, I guess, as boot camp. Like, this shit's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
Just make it through, just grind it out, I guess.
Yeah. It got better like when you're not a fucking fresh boot. You know, it gets better than than that part. It gets real nice when you start getting to know a bunch of people and fucking get to deploy, and then you get to know a lot more people when you deploy. You meet so many people when you deploy. It's fucking insane. Um, did you already know that you were going to be deploying when you were like right before you got to 27, or when they told you you were going to 27?
Yeah, so my instructor in comm school, I remember we were in class one day and they had somebody came in randomly into one of our classes. I was originally slated to go and be a part of a recon unit.
Oh shit.
I'm glad that didn't work out for me though, because the people in the class that went through the little recon, like the RO recon NDoc with me, because whenever I did the NDoc,
Yeah.
I guess I'd already had orders to 27, so they couldn't change them. They tried to change them for me, but unfortunately they said they weren't able to. So I got, at the time I thought I got fucked and sent to 27, and then all these other people were getting to go to this recon units. But I talked to them later on, and they said it was fucking cool. So I'm glad that didn't happen for me. But fuck, what was the question?
It was if you knew if you were gonna deploy, and then you said.
Yeah. So I remember being bummed about that
Yeah.
and talking to my instructor, and then that's whenever he told me that 7th Marines was in the rotation to the Middle East. I'd definitely be going somewhere. So that definitely, I guess, lifted my spirits a little bit. And at that point, the only thing that I was concerned about was stuck with H&S. Just get to a line, get to a company, because I did not want to be stuck with H&S, doing all the inventory and the counting and
Everything that was full support.
All the paperwork and all the bullshit. Essentially, I did not want to get stuck with that. So,
did you guys do a lot of that shit? Did you guys do a lot of paperwork?
Oh, yeah, our inspections, like the quarterly inspections or FASMO, I guess.
FASMO sucks. Fucking balls, dude. Fuck FASMO.
FASMO was like the pre-deployment.
They
make sure all your gear is like in order and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember doing these full inspections, or we do like an end of month inspection, and every piece of gear, every piece of
everything,
every accessory had to be with it, and we had to lay everything out, and the record jackets and this and that. And yeah, they were brutal, man. They took days, days and days, and that was getting up at 5:30 in the morning, going to eat chow, going straight to the shop, and just working until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, whatever it may have been. Just trying to get that shit done. And then God forbid if someone, if we're missing a radio or missing anything, we nobody was allowed to leave the shop.
No.
So they pretty much lock it down. Like, okay, you're not fucking leaving. We're not leaving until we find this one piece of gear. Yeah, we just get screwed over, man. I think there was like one night we definitely stayed there. We definitely slept there. It was someone threw like radio in the fucking trash can on accident, out like the dumpsters outside.
Damn.
So yeah, it was a time, man. Comm's cool because you get to skate a lot especially if you're detached out.
Yeah.
But you definitely pay your dues getting fucked in other areas for sure. 2-7 probably a lot more than other battalions.
Yeah, 2-7's intense. Well, I think it's because they were in that. Was it a 5-year deployment rotation? Is that what it was? Do you remember?
5-year deployment. What do you mean by 5-year?
Like, was it 5 years back to back that that 7th Marines was like slated for deployment?
I'm honestly not sure.
I had heard that somewhere. I can't remember where, but I had heard that 7th Marines is set for like 5 years of straight like just deployments back to back. I don't know what they're doing now, but that's just what I had heard. I wasn't sure if maybe whoever the fuck told me made that up or whatever. But I had heard we were going to Afghanistan. I was like, oh shit, we're going to Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they ended up canceling that, right? Like, or they ended up just telling us where we were actually going.
Well, they had mentioned that. I mean, there was all kinds of rumors going through. I thought originally we were just going to go to Kuwait or
Yeah.
Al Assad, and then TQ. Whenever we got told about TQ, I remember that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
They were like, right next to Fallujah and Ramadi.
Right in the middle.
We're just reopened. I remember them talking about, they're getting hit with 50 Dishka fire and 122 millimeter rockets like every other day, and that's where we're going. Prepare. We definitely saw some of that shit.
Dude, like, what was crazy is, for me, I was supposed to be in Jordan that whole deployment. I was supposed to be in Jordan, and I get to Jordan. I'm there for a month, and then they were like, "Nah, we need you in TQ." And when they flew me out to Kuwait, I forgot the captain that was in charge over there in Kuwait. He was like, "I just gotta tell you that where you're going, it's not safe. Like, I just gotta make sure that you know this." And I was like, "I'm aware, sir. Like, it's fucking Iraq. Like, obviously, it's not safe, dude." He's like, "I just have to tell you. I just want to make sure that you're aware that where we're sending you is not, like, the best place." I was like, "All right."
No.
But I remember getting there, and it was, I mean, how was your first experience in TQ, actually? Like, when you guys first got there, because you were there from the beginning, right?
Yeah, we flew in, and I remember we flew to Kuwait. I was in Kuwait for less than 24 hours, I believe. And
Yeah.
we took a C-130 over to Habbaniyah Lake to TQ. I remember we landed middle of the night.
Yeah.
It was probably around midnight, 1 or 2 a.m. I can't remember. The first thing that I remember, though, is stepping off the back of the C-130 and just the smell. The smell is different. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah.
especially being in that area, just like, I can't even
Definitely.
describe it. Just like a thick air, smoky. I don't even know.
Yeah, it was
I
definitely
can't
not.
describe it, but
Yeah, it's definitely not like Kuwait or anything.
you get used to it after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first thing I remember, and then I remember walking in the cover of night, not knowing where the fuck we were going,
Dude,
but just
same. Just
following the
black.
person in front of me, just trying to see what the hell was going on. But yeah, it was
Did they
it was
pick
a
you
great
guys up
experience.
in those like blacked out buses with all the headlights
Oh,
covered, or what? Or did you guys have to go out there?
fuck no, man. We humped it, man.
Uh,
We humped it. I remember getting in finally because it was so goddamn hot too. Because it was like
yep.
2 in the morning, but it was still like 105 degrees.
There's no escaping it out there.
And yeah, it was. I remember just finally getting in, and I felt like we were just walking in zigzags, man, and walking in circles, just walking past Hesco's, and I'd walk past the same Hesco again and again. And I'm just like,
Fuck, what a mind fuck.
and finally, we got to our little hooch, and then we had to go get ammo and all that stuff. So, I mean, you don't sleep that first night.
No.
And then I had no idea what was going on with me, because I was originally, I got attached to weapons company, was with 81s,
Yeah.
with the mortar team. And then whenever they were calling off the mortar rosters, because they did their own thing, I wasn't on it. And they were like, "Yeah, we don't need an RO. We're sending you to Easy Company." So I got detached for weapons and got sent over to Easy with guys that I, had not done any kind of workup with or anything. So
Damn.
I found myself in a hooch in a line platoon, not knowing fucking anybody. And basically they just were like, "Yeah, here you are. You're going to be an 11 this deployment." So
Yeah, they'll fucking they'll do that. Yeah.
I got shafted, but I'm grateful for it. I'd much rather have been doing that than sitting in the talk or COC with frickin' colonels and majors, all the formality.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't enjoy going to all those fucking meetings and like twice a week or something like that, just talking to a bunch of higher ups and trying to figure out like everything that had to get done. Like, but how it was when you were first getting there, you guys were back. How you guys fucking humped out to our sleeping quarters, and they put you with Easy Company instead of
Yeah.
being with 81s, which is like mortars and right? Is that what we're getting to?
Yeah. So I got sent to the line. Basically, they just told me to grab my shit. Actually, they came and got me because I was there for like 2 days and nobody had told me anything. I was unaware of what's going on, and I didn't really want to ask anybody to get my ass chewed out.
Yeah.
The first deployment, I was I a Lance already? Yeah, I was a
Yeah, you were
Lance.
Lance.
Fucking Big Ted, Mr. Clean. I wasn't about to say shit to anybody, so I flying under the radar for 2 or 3 days, and I remember getting ready for bed one night, and I think I pulled out like a laptop and had to watch a movie, and someone came and shook the rack. Was like, "Hey, are you late? Like, you got post right now." Like, you gotta
Oh.
I'm like, "Fuck, there it is. Here's the time."
Is that how it
Yeah,
happened? You were chilling. You were about to fucking just watch a
because
movie.
I was about to rack out, man. Sent the post. Whenever I got off post, they told me to grab all my stuff, and they moved me to a new hooch, and that's where I walked in, and I didn't know anybody whatsoever. There was a few weapons guys that I knew briefly. Never had any like super close, didn't work up with them, or
Right.
we hadn't really ever hung out before. So I knew a few people, but yeah, it was a fun. And my rack mate was Akins,
Akins.
Raphael Akins, double homicide. Got back.
Wait, what?
You remember Akins Easy Company, the
Oh.
my peer group that schwacked the bartender and her mom?
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember
he
that.
was my
He was in our.
he
He
was
was in our hooch.
he was no he was in my hooch. He
Oh,
was
he
my
was.
rack mate.
Wow.
Yeah, he slept above me. I slept on bottom rack. He slept up top.
Double
And yeah,
homicide. You said right?
that whole deployment, we were rack mates. We did a lot of shit together, man. We didn't stand post together too much. We did a few times, but yeah, that was a shock
How was
for
that for
sure.
you, knowing that happened when we got back? I didn't know him too well, so it was like
I mean, it was a shock for sure. I remember
we're
coming
back. Akins.
back.
We were talking about Akins, about how it was after we got back from deployment, right?
Yeah, it was just after because
Fucking wild.
we had our family fun day because I remember he came back like 2 or 3 weeks beforehand before everybody else because he
Mm-hmm.
had to go through corporal's course or some course, so he got pulled out early. But yeah, I remember getting back and doing the family fun day at like the golf course on base or whatever, and we were all smoking and joking, and we came back and we were having our own like barbecue or
Yeah.
whatever out in the smoke pit, getting fucked up, and you know, like nothing was going on.
Yeah.
Just just another day in 29, another day in 27, just getting fucked up
Yeah.
as fucked up as possible.
Yeah.
I remember going to my room to take a piss or something, and one of the other 31s from Easy came, started banging on my door. It's like, yo, came in the room and was just pacing back and forth, put his hands on his head. It was like 15 cars just pulled up outside. They have vests on.
Whoa.
They have M4s and shotguns, MP5s. Everyone is on face down in the rocks out in the smoke pit. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Like, shut the fuck up. And sure as shit, I remember we walked outside. I was like, let's go smoke a cigarette. And we walked outside, and sure as shit, there was like 15 unmarked cars. I
Whoa.
peeked around the corner. There's a guy with like a Benelli sitting right the fuck back. He's like, hey, go back over there. You don't need to be over here, see any of this.
What the?
We're just trying to, yeah, we're
Just a
just trying
bunch
to
of
figure out
Marines
what the hell
face
is going
down.
on.
Was it MPs or who was it?
NCIS.
Whoa. I didn't know they came in that
Yeah.
deep, dude.
Oh, yeah. They were the whole fire lane in front of 1412. Because you had the middle fire lane
Yeah.
in between, and then
Yeah.
the front fire lane in front of 1412. And in front of 1412, just lined the whole thing. They already had like caution tape up all around Aiken's
Whoa.
room, and they had already taken him and put him in cuffs. And then I saw them take his roommate, and then a 51, an assaultman
Yeah.
who was in the room conjoined to his, and then another one of my buddies, another 31. They took all of them in cars. Fortunately, they brought some of my other friends back. I guess they just wanted to question them, but
Yeah.
yeah, Aikens never came back, man. That was the last time I saw him
Was he out
that
there
night.
partying with you guys?
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah,
So
and it was
he had already fucking killed them, huh?
yeah. So he was
Yo.
probably maybe like a week beforehand was his birthday, and I didn't go with, but they all went out to that Mexican restaurant out in town.
Santanas or whatever
Uh,
the fuck it's called.
one of those places,
Yeah.
but it was somewhere off the 62. But yeah, they went out and they went drinking for his birthday and whatnot, and they came back. And the story is, when they came back, he went through the conjoined room and took somebody's car keys, took the car out to that girl's house, and then killed her and her mother, and then came back to base and acted like nothing happened, man. And then later on, I had a few people tell me that he had like hinted at it or like mentioned it. They were like, haha, like he told somebody in Easy, he's like, by the way, haha, I killed 2 people this weekend. They were like, shut up. The fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, didn't think anything of it. And he was being straight up. But, you know, if you do that shit, you're not really, you wouldn't expect someone to be straight up about it.
Nope.
And then somebody that he gave the pistol to, the murder weapon, he told him as he gave it to him, it's like, hey, be careful, there's bodies on it. And they're like, fuck up.
Was it another Marine that he gave it to?
Yeah, yeah, it was. Another Marine that lived in California. Him and his dad were, well, he kept, I know he kept my firearms whenever I was on deployment.
Yeah.
He kept a few other people's just because I wasn't about to put them in storage unit. So,
Right.
you think you could, people in that brotherhood, you'd be able to trust and stuff. But yeah, basically handed him a murder weapon, was like, hey, look
Dude,
after
that's
this for me.
fucking dirty, dude. On
Yeah.
how Aikens, that guy from 27, was he an easy?
Yeah, he was a 31 and
An easy. He was a machine gunner in easy company. So after that, once they took him away from there, did you guys hear anything else about it, or was it just the rumors that you had said where somebody was fucking around with the whole, it's got bodies on it, or stuff like that?
so yeah, like he got taken away, and
Yeah.
then everyone that was indirectly involved, they weren't allowed to speak on it at all.
Oh well.
So everyone was pretty much in the dark. And then that's when we started seeing, I think it was people talked about some rumors that night, like maybe this is what it is. Like I heard so and so like got killed in town this past weekend. Like, do you think he had something to be involved in that? People just started like putting all the pieces together.
Right.
And then whenever I found out like who had gotten killed out in town, and then looking back on some of the stories that he had told me, like standing post and stuff, it just kind of made sense. God, this is like, it's got to be, something for them, NCIS, to pull up like that and show force at the barracks, like
Yeah.
something big. Like we thought at first it was just like some weapons or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then just slowly kind of unfolded, and then we saw like the news articles coming out, and that U.S. Marine, 29 Palms,
That's crazy.
Stella homicide. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of like fuck, but like you didn't want to believe it, but it happened. So
Yeah.
there's no denying it.
Yeah, people do dumb shit, man. What stories did he say that kind of hinted at it, if you remember any?
Standing post. You
You
talk
talk.
about anything and everything.
Yeah.
Going back to like your childhood, how you grew up, high school,
Yeah.
sports, whatever, and women is a big topic.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it was a story. He would just tell me about like some girl that he didn't go into, looking back now, he didn't go into like extreme detail.
Yeah.
But he did tell me that he was like hooking up with like an older woman. It was like a bartender
What the fuck?
or yucca or somewhere close to base. But yeah,
I wonder why he did it, you know? Like what was the reason behind it? It's crazy.
I've heard all kind of rumors, man, and I won't get into it just
Yeah.
because I don't know the
What the
truth.
actual reason maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
I don't know if I'll ever know the truth. I don't know if he'll ever expel the truth, but
yeah, because I think
yeah,
he was what for not guilty, right? He was a
he tried pleading in like insanity, I think, and then
mm,
a couple of guys actually after EAS had to fly back to like Joshua Tree, Yucca, and go to his like hearing and his like sentence. I'm pretty sure he got sentenced to life
wow,
in prison.
damn, that's insane.
So because he was in holding like the whole time. Um, we went on our second deployment, came back, and I was still. I think I was like weeks away from getting out when he finally, because you had like the arraignment and then the hearing, because he had the arraignment and then he had the actual hearing. I can't remember if it was just before I got out or just after I got out, but I remember some guys from Easy had to fly back after getting out of the Marine Corps to go to his trial,
Damn.
and they all had to go against him.
Well, really, they
But
had to testify.
yeah, they had to testify against him.
Wow.
That's gotta,
I can't even imagine being in that position, dude. I bet that's fucking
yeah,
difficult. Like training with that dude the whole time, fucking
yeah.
getting ready to go overseas, come back, and then boom, you have to fucking.
That's I don't know if that shit happens throughout the entire Marine Corps, but it seemed to happen at least like to somebody every year.
It's
Maybe
more
not to
common in
that
270, I
scale,
think.
but for just 29 Palms, there's like the girl that got killed out in Joshua Tree, the one Marine got her pregnant, different wife or
That was two
whatever, and
seven
then
too.
yeah, 2-7 people getting
After
kidnapped.
when yeah, that was us. That was when we got back. Um, these three Marines beat the fuck out of this dude from Fox.
Or they got in like a van or something and like kidnapped him and went and beat the shit out of him or something
Nah,
because he
I
was
think
fucking
they
someone's
like
wife.
fucking lured him into that dude's wife's house. Something stupid as fuck. And they beat that's what I heard. And they beat the shit out of him and then I don't know so I don't know how accurate this, but I heard they lured him into that dude's wife's house or whatever through her Snapchat or something. Because that's how they found out they were talking, and then they beat the shit out of him, sent him to the fucking ER, almost died, and those three dudes fucking, they all got arrested. Fucking Brig, Fox. Here, I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
something in the water. Bandini,
It's
I guess the
Bandini. It's
filter's not good enough out there.
it's the sun. I don't know. It cooks the brain a little bit.
Yeah, man,
Man.
just so it's a wild that really is the fucking Wild West out there.
Yeah.
Civilized. It's
Yeah.
wild. Sure.
It's super out there. There's like nothing. It's an old ass town. Fucking just a bunch of Marines. Fucking
Just a
get
bunch of Marines, no women.
yeah,
Uh,
getting drunk.
just
Fucking
yeah, pent up aggression and rage
super
and
pent up rage from like all the training and bullshit that goes on in that base. Yeah, I mean, people fight all the time there, all the time.
all the
Um, let's go back to TQ because we ended up going this route
yeah.
talking about your bunkmate. Um, that shit's wild though. So when you guys first arrived to TQ, what was the environment around you guys? Like, how was it around there?
It was we got there. It was summertime deployment, so it's hot as fuck all the time.
Yeah.
But basically, Al Taqaddum Air Base was centered between Ramadi and Fallujah, as you know, just north of Habaniya Lake. But it wasn't, nothing super crazy, but, we'd get our occasional probe every now and then from ISIS or, God knows who or what was shooting at us, but we never saw them. but yeah, it was, I don't really know how to describe the environment. It was just,
you could just hear shit going down outside the
you knew that, it was under Obama administration. We weren't doing
much
anything offensive. We were training the Iraqis and, doing our own like small training ops and, standing posts, going on patrols and whatnot. But yeah, it was honestly, I guess the environment was just hot and fucking boring, man. That's all I can really.
Boring. Yeah. Besides,
hot,
like
boring.
the few times that IDF came in, made it a little exciting.
Yeah, that. But yeah, looking back to TQ first deployment, like I didn't do as much as compared to our second.
Where did you guys end up going? Actually, before we get there, sorry, I just fucking it triggered it.
Yeah.
Just because I was in TQ with you, so it's like, oh, what happened after we left? So that was your first deployment. How would you say it was for you getting back to the States? Like your first time coming back overseas. How would you say that was for you?
That's what everyone's thinking about.
Yeah.
After the first 2 or 3 days that you get there, it finally settles in.
Yeah. You
honestly like, you know where you're at, but you don't know where the fuck you're at. Like you could be somewhere completely different and not even know it. But
yeah,
that's all you think about is getting back home, or like when that time will be, or like and it gets easier. You get used to being there, so you don't think about it as much. But then it like hits you in waves.
Yeah.
Something happens, and then you start looking back like fuck. Something awful happens. And then you're just ready to go. And then you get used to it again. And then something awful happens and you're ready to go. And then you're constantly being told you're going to go home this date. And then it gets pushed back this date.
Yeah. Towards the end, it gets fucking, you just want to get out of there. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But I remember flying back. I was luckily one of the first groups to get to leave TQ.
Same. And
we went to Kuwait. We were in Kuwait for, 4 or 5, maybe a week. I can't remember exactly. We were there for a few days and then flew back through Ireland. Got trashed in Ireland, even though we weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
At like 3:30 in the morning in the Shannon's International Airport. But yeah, landed back at March Air Force Base. I guess. My phone. I remember my phone didn't work, but I didn't give a fuck. I was glad to see the mountains, green. Yeah. And just ready for that first 96 to just go crazy.
Fuck yeah, that's always exciting. The first like a few days off is always fucking nice.
And it was just a surreal feeling.
Yeah, that's what I try to describe it as. It's just so fucking awesome. Being back.
You go from living quote unquote normal life in the States, and then next thing you know you're sleeping over in TQ. Luckily we had fucking the racks.
Jeez. Yeah.
But you just find yourself in a completely different environment, and then you suffer through it for so long, and then snap you're back out of it again.
Yeah.
Very surreal feel. You almost don't know what to do. It's like, and there's so many. You have so much freedom to do whatever. You can, drive.
It's kind of weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, so it's honestly, it's too much. Like, I feel like right when you first get back, there's too much to do. Plus, all you want to do is go out and drink or like go eat, fucking
anything.
McDonald's or anything.
Anything good.
Anything good. But then on top of that, you have so much stuff to do. readjusting, getting gear back, or turning shit
The
in.
turnover sucks too.
Yeah, and then you roll. I think it was the second. We weren't allowed to go on our first 96 until other people got back. So like the first night we got back, I think the RBE, the remain behind element, who didn't deploy with us, they stood post or like duty that night for one night, and then we were back to duty.
Damn.
Like we jumped right back into it. So
Damn.
and then we had to wait like 2 weeks until everyone got back before we finally got to go like have a true 96. I mean, we had some weekends off and stuff, and we weren't doing much, and we were at work, but yeah, we got shafted with. But yeah, definitely a surreal feeling coming back.
Yeah, that's always an awesome feeling. I remember the first time we got back, I was like, man, it's fucking great being back. I'm so excited. And so
go to Santana's and get the California burrito, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. Santana's and that California burrito. I'd be there all the time. I got off at that liquor store off base in Gammy's.
Mm-hmm.
I went in there in Gammy's because the PX was closed by the time we got off work. I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to go to my barracks room and change. We're already out here getting Santana's. I can't go back out. Can't go back in base and come back. I'll just get out real quick. There was a fuck ton of Marines. There was like 3 Marines in there, faded as fuck. And I got in there. They're probably buying some more alcohol. And I get in there and they just fucking raw me. They're like, raw. They're all fucked up. Yeah, that was a
good old days.
Yeah, that was a good night. So getting back, obviously we start working fucking fairly fast, especially being in 2-7 where it's a unit that's deploying less than a year after you get back. Because I think when we got back the first time, it was 11 months and then we deployed again. How would you describe the workload is when you're doing the training to pre-deployment? And would you say it's sufficient training for what you go and do over there?
It's a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's constant. Every day you're up and doing something. And then I have a different perspective for most. Just because, I was attached to weapons, and luckily when I got back, they kept me detached. So they didn't send me back to H&S. So I still reported to weapons company for a while. And then there was a time where they did bring me back to H&S because we had to do like the phasmo and all that stuff. But then right after that, I got sent right back out to weapons. So,
no shit.
I got lucky. I did get lucky. And I was kind of, weapons. They'd be like, hey, what are you doing today? I'd be like, I got to do something down at the shop. And I would, go and do my shit at the shop. And then after that, I was fucking good. That wasn't every day.
Right.
I definitely got to skate a lot. And I got to make my own. I got to go down and, set up my gear for the field whenever I wanted to.
Damn.
Stuff like that. So that was a little perk of the job, but
yeah,
I definitely got shafted in other things. I'd have to go and do some shit for H&S, and then whenever I was done with H&S,
back to weapons.
Weapons company would need me to go and do something, and I would be with them all fucking night.
Yeah.
No sleep, come right back to H&S and do H&S work. There were times where I got fucked over, and there were times where I got to. So I would say it balanced out, but
yeah, that's the perks of not being attached to your to fucking H&S. You can just kind of for the most part kind of do your own thing. Obviously report it.
Yeah, like before TQ when my boot work up, I was luckily still with weapons. But I had like a senior RO that I reported to, Gashler.
Right.
Like Gashler was like my senior little fucking Gashler.
Yeah, fucking Gashler.
But yeah, besides Gashler and I were cool as fuck, even though he was my, he would try to fuck with me, but he's 5'3", 115 pounds, soaking wet.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, shut up.
Hey, Gashler, what's up?
So we were, but like, we would go and do our shit, but then I would report to Gaster. Gaster would be like, "We're not fucking going up there. I'm not going up there. You're not going up there." So like, we're not doing that shit. Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, but definitely, you're going to the field every week.
yeah.
Every week I was in the field basically, and then say I was going out with like Cat. I'd be going out with Cat, Combined Anti-Armor Weapons Company. I'd go out with them for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, and then come back. I'm like, yeah, I got the weekend, and like, hey, 81's RO is sick or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where did you guys
something.
think you were going? Like, did you guys know where you were going already? Because I was out during that workup. Like
For
the
the
second
second
time.
deployment?
Yeah.
It was a lot of, I mean, as you know, everything, word travels fast and rumors get spread and things change. So you hear so many things and you're kind of just like, that sounds great, but it's not gonna happen.
But doubt it. Yeah, I'll believe it when I'm on the plane.
Yeah. So like, we heard 100 different things. I heard going to northern Iraq, going to Al-Assad, going to Afghanistan, Syria, embassy, whatever. And then finally later in the workup, we found that some of us were going to Al-Assad, some were going to Erbil, which was in Iraq, and
In
then
northern Iraq, you said?
northern Iraq, yeah. And then some were going to. There was a select few that were going to Syria, and obviously everyone was like, "Yeah, I want Syria," but it was like very, very small at the beginning, and then over time it just grew. It wasn't a full company. Basically, we just had in our location at first, it was just like a platoon size. It wasn't a lot of people at all because we were under. Well, I'm jumping ahead, but
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they were all under SF command, Special Forces, ODAs.
Oh no shit, really?
So,
The guys who were out there in Syria?
Yeah, and luckily we ended up going to my group. We got split. It was the second deployment was all weird because beforehand it was like weapons went to Al Assad,
Right.
Easy Company went to TQ, Fox was in Kuwait,
Right.
and so was in Baghdad or whatever. But on the second deployment, it was each company had their own AO, but then weapons company was split. So there was some guys from weapons that ran Afghan, some guys that ran in both locations, and then some guys that were in Syria too. So we had people
everywhere.
I can't remember. Yeah, and then Jordan as well. So I can't remember the exact number, but they said there was like 20. There was like upwards of 20 something different locations where 2-7 Marines were at.
Holy fuck.
That task force. Yeah, it was nuts. It was fucking awesome. That deployment was fucking awesome.
Was it really?
It was.
How did it start out for you? You said you got to go to Syria, right?
So I went to Al-Assad for the first 2 months. And I was on the back end leaving. I think I was one of the last groups to leave. So we flew in. Again, I was in Kuwait less than 24 hours. We flew in, landed at like 4 in the afternoon, and I was on a flight that night to Al-Assad. Landed at Al-Assad, got there like 3 in the morning, found a rack, passed out, woke up the next day, and we fucking left.
Whoa.
Like we left the base, yeah. And we were just out. And we got to do this. So this was under Trump administration. So we're doing a lot more like offensive style maneuvers and stuff like that.
Right.
Supporting we were still training the Iraqi army, but we were also supporting their push too. So they would push out to a city and we would follow them.
Damn.
We'd set up little patrol bases and whatnot. And yeah, we were out there in the middle of Iraq.
No shit.
We were setting up our own. Yeah, we went down. Some MSR people hadn't traveled since like the initial invasion of Iraq, just littered with IED craters everywhere.
Damn.
And it was just this barren ass fucking road through the middle of nothing. all the way to the border to Syria.
Wow. How what were some moments that stood out to you while you were out there, man?
So that initially we were out for, I want to say, 2 weeks. We
Yeah.
set up a patrol base, and then that's when one of the companies came in and they took over the security of the place, of the little base that we set up, and then we booked it back to Al Assad, and we were supposed to rest and refit for a day or two, and then push back out again, and then we were gonna pretty much like leapfrog. We were gonna go back to that patrol
Push a little more
base,
forward.
stay a night, and then push out again, establish another base, and then they would come and take it over. The army would backfill,
Damn.
that type of thing.
So Marines were pushing, and then Army was taking over security. Marines were pushing, and then Army was taking over. Oh, okay.
Yep, yep. It was us. There was a few SEALs out there with us, and then some people from the task force. But
Did
yeah,
you
there
guys
wasn't
run
a
into
lot of
any
us,
shit
man.
out there?
So the first situation we encountered, that whole first 2 months, not anything like direct contact with ISIS, but like environmental for sure.
Oh,
We
really?
had, after we did our R&R, we started getting hit with like small sandstorms. You remember the sandstorm in TQ?
Yeah.
It was like only a day.
Yeah.
So we got hit with like little flurries like that,
Huh.
that delayed our push back out. And of course, some jackass, we stayed for like 3 days, and finally they were like, there's a little window. We're going to push out today. We're going to get there. Hopefully we can get there before it comes back again. So
Yeah.
some dumbass was like, there's this sliver of hope that y'all can make it, and sent us on our way.
Yeah.
And it was like it was a 6 hour convoy. And right when we got there, it started to get bad again. And
Jeez.
I remember we hopped out of the trucks and started eating MREs, and the wind was just unbearable. I remember just MRE bags just fucking flying, just going.
Jeez.
Yeah, and the sand out there was like dust.
Yeah.
We call it moon dust. You're walking around, it's like coming up to your calves, just powder.
Yeah.
And it got so bad. Like everyone had to put gas masks on.
Yeah, because the goggles don't do shit. It'll go right through the goggles.
Dude, it legit got, like, some people seriously could have got fucked up out there.
Yeah.
You couldn't see. We had parked all 5 of our MRAPs and MATVs literally, no shit, like 5-10 feet apart. And I remember being in the back of one of the trucks, and I just couldn't breathe. It was still coming through the turret hatch. We couldn't seal the turret hatch, so it was just coming through. It was coming through the doors,
Whoa.
the vents, man, everything. It was bad. It was just like everything was just burnt orange outside, and then it turned to night. So then you really couldn't see fucking anything.
How long did that shit
And I
last
remember
for?
the worst of it was almost, the worst part was like at least 12 hours long, and then
Jesus Christ.
the whole storm itself lasted for like 3, 4, 5 days. It was, and it's progressively like slowed down, and
Yeah.
you could actually walk outside, but you couldn't breathe, man. Like, that's why we threw our gas mask on. I remember feeling so claustrophobic in the truck. We had the line company guys that didn't have trucks. They were running over and like trying to jump on our Vicks.
Wow.
We had guys like laying on top of AT4s and tow missiles in the back of the truck, ammo. It was a wild time, and these army guys, I remember, kept running up to our MRAB, and they opened the door. They're like, "Have you seen a soldier, so and so, so and so?" Like, I can't even fucking see you, bro. Like, how am I supposed
Damn, they
to
lost
tell
a
you?
guy out there or something?
Yeah, I remember they like 550 corded themselves, 15 of them all in a line, and were like walking and. Luckily, no one got hurt, but there were some people that got stuck. I remember somebody, I can't remember who it was, went to go take a shit,
Yeah.
and it hit all at once, and they couldn't find their way back to the trucks.
Whoa.
So they said I remember they said they dug a hole in the sand and just like kind of put their face down it. It was just like trying to breathe off the ground.
No
It was
shit.
bad, bro. It was
Whoa.
bad.
That's insane, dude. Somebody could have fucking. You guys could have lost a few people in that shit. Like, people
Oh
could have
yeah,
fucking gone missing.
for sure, for sure. I remember I got out of the truck and somebody, our lieutenant, came up to me. He was like, "Lay," like I'm talking. He's right here next to me and just screaming as
Yeah.
loud as he. Have you seen, Sergeant so and so? And I remember saying, he's like, yeah, he's in the last Vic, just right over there. And we're, like I said, 5-10 feet apart, all in a line.
Yeah.
And he's like, can you walk me over there? Like, take me to him. And I was like, fuck that. Like, I'm standing right here. I'm not walking fucking anywhere. And he's like, okay, like, I understand. Like, I'm not trying to, he's like, I wouldn't do that shit either. So, and luckily that sergeant
you're like,
was,
fuck, I'm gonna hold on to this
yeah,
truck.
yeah, Lieutenant Snow. He just literally, he's like, lay. He's like, take me over there. I literally looked at dead in his face, like, fuck you, man. I'm not doing that. And I just
That's
remember
hilarious.
when all that subsided, I remember just trying to like clear my nose. Your eyes are all crusty.
Yeah.
And I remember clearing my nose and it was just like Hershey's chocolate, like melted Hershey's chocolate coming out of my nose. Just so much dirt.
Wow.
Oh, it's gross.
So that's
And
what
that
it's
was the
like getting
day,
caught out there.
the day after. So we were out there for 2 weeks. We went back to R&R, shower, and that was
Yep.
the day that we came back out was the day
You just get shit on.
right after a fresh shower. And
Damn.
then yeah, from that point on we were out there for like another 60 days.
Whoa.
But we pushed on
Pushed,
further.
came back, pushed. Wow.
No, we pushed one time and we didn't come back.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Damn. For like 60
We went
days, you said?
Yeah, almost 2 months.
You guys just get constant resupplies?
Yeah, so we pushed out again. We were the first to push out. We pushed all the way to Al-Qaim, yeah, right on the border of Syria.
Yeah.
That was like the last ISIS stronghold. We supported the Iraq and Al-Qaim. They cleared the city relatively quickly. It took a minute once we established. It took a minute for them to gather forces and bring them up. The clearing of the city was pretty quick, but then we had to sit there and hold it until the army could gather enough people to come out, and they were going to establish that position.
So
it was like an old position.
like our army, right? Like the U.S. Army, yeah.
Correct.
So they were just going to help defend the city, or what?
Just a perimeter. Basically, we drove out, a couple kilometers outside of the city, and we were there. That they set up the howitzers, Hardy set up and all that stuff. So we were like a supporting element. So we were the security element,
right,
for that supporting element that was supporting that Iraqi.
So you guys basically made sure that it was fucking cool for them to bring everything over and secure the area.
Yeah, and at that pause we had everybody, and we had SEALs there. So it was us, it was Cat, a few Easy Company guys, and some SEALs, and we established that train station. And then after we had set it up, we were there for probably a week or so, maybe a little longer. And then that's when everybody started to come. We had French forces there.
Holy shit.
We had Spanish special forces, OSOF, Australian special forces, Danish special forces.
Oh shit!
We had everybody.
The fuck? Damn.
And then we had the Iraqi SF guys were there. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then after that, that's whenever we got to go to Syria. It was after that whole 2-month spiel.
Oh, so you guys did that for 2 months in Iraq, and then you pushed over to Syria?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So
was it because the mission was done in Iraq already, or what?
No, just because there were some more things that needed to get done in Syria, and they needed more of a
presence, maybe.
They needed more Marine presence, because the whole idea for sending Marines to Syria in the first place was so that Marines could be security for ODA, Green Berets. So Green Berets traditionally use Rangers as their security element, but the ODA guys that were in Syria, they were like, fuck the Rangers, we want with us. Straight up.
Nice.
So we were the test bed for that, and I think that is still continuing to this day. I think, yeah, it was like maybe it might have been 3-7 that was, or I can't remember if we relieved 1-7 or 3-7, but they were like the initial Marines to be over there.
Right, 3-7.
Only, I think it was 3-7 or 1-7. I can't. They were the initial ones, and then, but there was only a few, maybe like 25 to 30, maybe more. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But then we only sent a handful of guys over there, and then that's whenever we pretty much started beefing it up. And then by the end of it, we basically had a company. We had most of weapons company in Syria by the end of it all, besides a few 81.
So I don't know if I remember hearing this, or I don't know if this is accurate. Did somebody get shot while you guys were over there in Syria?
We had a helicopter. We had a Osprey go down.
What?
That was initial. That was the first guys. Cat 1. They were flying in. First day, Osprey went down, landed on base. Lost everything. Luckily, everyone was okay.
Wow. How did we lose that Osprey? Was it just
pilot error?
Fuck.
I think they say he came in, and because we didn't have an airstrip there, it was just, it was like it was like a little village. It was like a little city, and then we had like our own little part of the city, so to say, that we had HESCO'd off. But we had like a helipad that was just nothing but fucking rocks, and I think someone said he came in and clipped one of the HESCOs, and said that they just fucking hit the ground, rolled a little bit.
Fuck.
They said the gunner got ripped out the back. Luckily, he had his harness on. I think he broke his leg, but than that, he was fine. Nobody perished on that, but they lost all their gear.
Damn.
Rifles.
Oh, really?
NVGs. Yeah. Lost a lot of shit. The whole. You haven't seen pictures of that?
No, I haven't seen pictures of that.
Oh yeah, the whole Osprey. They said that, I remember I was talking to some guys. They were there. They hit. They said that it was like the most violent shaking.
Oh, I bet
you can imagine. And then they said that they kind of came to a stop and then looked out the windows, and there's just flames coming over the side of the Osprey. And they're just like, get the fuck out. This thing's about to fucking blow the fuck up. So, I want to say pretty much, I think there might have been a few weapons lost. I don't think there was many, but I think there might have been a few, but they definitely lost all their gear, NVGs, personal items, whatever. And the funny thing was, they got off the bird and they walked all the way down to like the Marines bivouac.
Yeah.
And whoever the company gunny was or whatever was like, all right, when can you guys stand post? And they were like, I think we're gonna need like a day or two. And like, what the...
Just immediately.
Yeah, immediately. Like, yeah, I know you almost just died, and
you almost died in this terrible Osprey accident. But hey, my guys need some relief.
Yeah, so that was the kickstart of Syria for 2-7, and then we did have someone get shot later on in the deployment. I don't know how much you know about that situation.
Not much, to be honest.
I know probably a little bit more than I should, so I won't speak on that. Just because I don't know exactly. I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly what happened. But I do know some people that were there, and some things are off. Some things are off about that whole think, so I won't dive too much into it or share my opinions about it. But I think it was. I personally think that it was something staged or set up.
Interesting. That's weird.
I think it's somebody doing some chasing, some ribbon chasing. One.
Oh, gotcha. Damn. That's a
Yep.
common thing,
And
man. As much as like you may or may not, I mean, fucking people might not know, but I had somebody on who was it? Briseño. He was one of my recruiters. He fucking he was over in Afghanistan I'm trying to remember the time frame, but it was early on where there was still a lot of shit going on, and the battalion commander fucking was basically looking for a fight all the time.
mm,
Like anytime there was contact going out, he'd take these fucking the same guys out there every time, and he'd keep them out there for a while. And I think one of them ended up getting fucking really badly hurt. I'm trying to remember correctly, but yeah, that dude was basically just chasing fucking those awards.
yeah, and just after all of that, I remember walking into the talk that night, and people were like, "Oh, so and so this happened, and so did this," and
Yeah,
I don't know, it was just something about it. I just automatically kind of
it was just
red
strange.
flags. It was
Yeah.
just red flags, and then whenever that person came back and just how excited they were about it. Some,
Oh.
a Marine got shot, but then uh, a friendly force got killed,
Yeah.
and they blamed it on like an
Inside
inside
attack. Yeah.
inside attack. That's what they blamed it on. But I personally feel that the guy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and got fucking killed because somebody wear a fucking ribbon on their chest and feel,
Yeah.
so that's the kind of fucked up shit that goes on, I guess.
Yeah, man, that happens a lot. People may not know it, but there's people who are just chasing it, and it helps some people with promotion. But I think it's just the culture that the Marine Corps has. Honestly, I don't know how other branches do. I'm sure the Army has like their combat patch or whatever, but man, it's such a big deal in the fucking Marine Corps where it's like, oh, you haven't seen shit, you've never done this, you've never done that. Like your rank matters, but it doesn't matter that much. Like whatever's on your chest matters way more to a lot of people in the Marine Corps than rank does. Um, and I get it, it's experience, but that that whole culture I think is causing people to chase things for the wrong reasons instead of actually just being in the shit when the shit happens. Not taking credit from anybody, but I mean, it happens. It's
Well,
definitely
and I think that it ties back. I was watching one of your videos, and when somebody was talking about, he felt bad because he didn't deploy or get to do
yeah,
anything, so he felt lesser. And I understand that because from
same,
day one you walk into boot camp and you're like, okay, this guy's got ribbons. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. And you
right,
know what the ribbons mean and what they're. So okay, he knows what he's talking about. He's got the credentials. He's got the
right. The
proof to
resume,
back it up.
yeah,
But you know, looking back now, it's not about those experiences. Sure, you learn a lot from stuff like that, but
yeah,
you don't have to specifically go through it just to feel like that you're better than somebody else or that you have that one up advantage on somebody, because 9 out of 10 times, most of the time, those people, they might be grateful for the experience, but they probably wish they didn't have to see something like that
yeah.
or experience something like that. So
That's what I was trying to tell him. That it's like sometimes I'm like, man, I kind of wish I got into like a crazy firefight. But then I think, and I really, really think about it, and I'm like, probably don't. I probably don't.
well, I mean, that's everyone wants to go in,
Yeah,
you know I just want to do my job. I'm trained to do.
yeah,
Yeah, and the boots would always, everyone's like, I just want some shit to pop off. I'd be lying if I wasn't on just fucking waiting for some shit to pop off.
yeah,
But when you really dig down into it and think about it, Sure, it'd be cool to send in some rounds down range is cool and whatnot, but all it takes is that one to, you know, take your best friend's head off.
Exactly.
Which
That's
you
exactly
never
where I was going to
fucking,
go.
never in a million years would ever want that shit to ever happen again. So,
Yeah.
but it's just I guess it's like the psychology of it though, man. Extreme adrenaline highs, extreme lows. I remember first time you get an IDF, worried because you don't know what the fuck's gonna
Fuck
happen. You don't
yeah.
know
You
where
can't
it's
say you're
gonna hit.
not. You can't say you're not.
No,
You hear this
you're
alarm
worried.
going off, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
But what's fucked up to me, I remember sitting there being like, okay, when's the next one gonna hit? Where's it gonna hit? The phalanxes are going off and whatnot. And then they started, they were coming every few seconds,
Those
and then
were,
it would be a little bit longer.
yeah.
And then it would be like every 5 minutes another one would come in. And then towards that time when you're kind of sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for the next one to come, it doesn't come, it doesn't come, it doesn't come. And it's almost like you want another one to hit,
Yeah.
That
You
was
hear everything. It's so many things going off at once. It's the radio, the black ear going off like, oh shit, here comes another one, here comes another one. This one's close, this one's close. I remember them saying that shit over the black ear, cause it took the system a little bit to react. Cause I remember laying in bed that night when it was like that intense one that you're talking about, where it was just continuous. Like that took a while, because I remember hearing it, and we were like, what the fuck is that? Is that outgoing, or is that like, because there was nothing going on and Black Ear was quiet. And then we had somebody ask on Black Ear, like, hey, is that outgoing or is that incoming? And they're like, oh, we're trying to figure that out. It's like, what the fuck you mean we're trying to figure that out? It's like, is there fucking rockets coming in, or and then the alarm went off. And then
yeah.
That's when the whole fucking defense system went off. And when I heard that shit, that's when I was like, oh fuck.
Mm-hmm. We had just gotten off post, and we had just switched over to QRF. So we had just got into the QRF room, and then we were probably in there for 30, 45. They were still doing a post changeover.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Or something like that.
It was a post changeover, yeah.
They started to come in, because I remember one of the posts, it was post 5, way down on the south end. The truck was outside of the post with everybody in the truck. And that's when the phalanx started going off. The alarm started going off. So they all ran up in the post. So there was like 10 to 12 people on post 5 at the time. And one of the ROs in the talk said that the phalanx system, which is the automatic missile defense system on the base, where actually took out one of the rockets that was supposed to. The POI, the point of impact, was actually the grid coordinates for the post. So,
damn,
who knows how many people that shit fucking saved?
Yeah,
on that day. But that's
how many did it hit? Do you know?
How many?
How many did the CRAM? How many rockets did it shoot down?
Oh, I think it said 4.
4? Holy fuck!
Yeah, but I mean, out of a total of how many
fucking
rockets?
I lost count, because I remember it just kept coming. I was like, that's when I saw fear on a lot of Marines' face for the first time. And like legit fear on people's faces is the first time I've seen.
That was during it was a fucking sandstorm too.
It was during the sandstorm. That's what I was gonna say when you said it, bro. I called it that day too.
You couldn't see anything. You have no idea what's going on. You have no control what's going on.
Nothing.
For all we knew, people were about to like fucking invade the base too.
Yeah.
We had no idea what was going on. So, it was.
That was intense.
It was wild, man.
That was an intense day. I remember being at the shop, and I had our lot, where Morty was at in TQ, and they were pulling down that big ass blimp. I'm talking about that camera.
Mm-hmm.
They were pulling it down, and they do that when there's bad weather. And they were letting us know that there was gonna be like fucking shit weather coming up, so they were pulling that shit down. And I remember sitting on a Humvee, and I was like, man, today would be a good day. Like I was like, I was thinking, I was like, if I was them, like this would be the perfect time.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I was lying in my fucking rack. Shit starts going off, and I was like, I fucking knew it, dude. And then you get this stupid ego mentality where you're like, I'm not gonna run to the fucking, I'm not running to the bunker. Yeah, I'm fucking cool.
Well, we went through.
Yeah.
You went through so many times
I
before
know.
where
It's
the
nothing.
alarms are going off or outgoing or the phalanx are going off.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. So, eventually you just get to a point where you fucking hear outgoing. The first 2 or 3 weeks you're fucking jumping every time, but after a while you sleep right through that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, you're like, fuck that. I'm not running out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I remember grabbing Tran, because like I understood that we got tired of it, but then I was like, what if it's one of what if it's one of these? Like, what if one time the rocket hits like on our in our fucking hooch, we're fucked. Like everybody in there's fucked,
Mm-hmm.
and I seriously, like everybody in there would be smoked. I remember Trans like just taking his sweet ass time, and I fucking grab him by the flag, and I was like, "Hurry up, motherfucker!" I was like, I don't care if you're gonna try to look cool or something like that." I was like, "Let's go, get your ass in the bunker." And sure enough, when we get in, Nevares from Easy, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Or Navarro, fucking Navarro. I think it's
Yep.
Nevares. He was sitting across from me in the bunker, and that's when we heard the first like actual impact, and his face fucking just like changed immediately. But a lot of some of the corpsmen, because we were packed in those bunkers, dude, like packed.
Yeah, I was stuck in a fucking bunker with First Sergeant Escobar.
Oh.
Was that his name?
I think
Escobar?
so. I didn't like that
No,
guy.
Whoever Easy's fucking first sergeant was, our first.
Yeah, that Mexican or something, right? He fucking.
No, it wasn't Escobar. That was like, fuck, I can't remember his name. But I was stuck in with our company first sergeant, Captain Zachary, the fucking CO.
Yep.
The XO, Todorsky, I think it was.
Yeah.
Todorsky.
Lieutenant Todorsky, yeah.
And Gunny Herrera and Restrepo. Do you remember Restrepo? Stretch?
I think so.
He was an 11, or no, he was a 51 Easy.
How was that?
But yeah, it was him and I, and then all the fucking higher ups.
You're probably like, we're not dying, bro.
Yeah, we were just chilling. Yeah, I just remember radios fucking going crazy and just sitting there feeling helpless. Like, well, if it hits us, it hits us. If not, then whatever.
It took forever to get the Paladins to shoot back, huh?
So I heard the story behind that was because they didn't have positive ID.
I had heard it was because of approval. Yeah,
so it was approval because of no positive ID. So they had the radar system detected the POO, the point of origin.
Yeah.
So they knew where the rockets were coming from, but they didn't have a camera on. So they didn't know who exactly was shooting. And then the colonel, I can't remember his name either. I remember he's tall as fuck though. It was like 6'10".
I don't remember his name, but I know he was tall as fuck.
Colonel Cook.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Sounds right. Colonel Cook. We'll call him Colonel Cook.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Colonel Cook. Well, Big Dick Colonel Cook said, fuck positive ID and fucking pulled the strings, man. And
because we were getting constantly hit. I heard air fly over us after a while, though.
Yeah. But they shot like a 20 shot volley at the point of origin, and then no more
quiet
IDF.
Yeah.
So, but then, apparently he got fucking relieved of some shit or something because of that decision, or he got in some trouble.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because we were getting shit on, and we couldn't do anything.
Because he didn't have PID. Yeah.
Dude, they were like hitting like in front of the base, behind the base, in front of the base. Like they were like fucking dead on for being a sandstorm.
Yeah, they were walking on for sure.
Do you think they had you think they had an informant on there? Like, do you think they had somebody spotting them? Because I was super accurate during a sandstorm,
Something. I mean, it had to be.
right?
Lord knows.
That was yeah, that was an experience for sure. God damn. But let's see. Let's get to you getting out here. So, when did you say you got out of the Marine Corps again?
So we got back from Syria,
Yeah.
2018, and I think I had 6 months transition time. So we got back, and then I got out, and I took my terminal and got out December 13th.
Nice. Would you say that you got the freedom to get your transition ready?
Not at
Not at all. And I know the answer before I ask it, but it's just for everybody's sake, just because I was in your battalion, so it's like, yeah.
Not at all, man. We got back and we had our 96 and another workup starting. I might not be deploying, but I'm fucking doing the workup, you know? So
Fuck.
we didn't have any boots. We didn't have any junior guys to backfill any. Well, I mean, I had my boots, but my boots. So,
Oh.
I didn't have grand boots yet. So I was still having to go out to the field.
Wow.
Granted, I was like, I'm fucking doing any of the bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we still went out to the field and had to go through training ops week after week after week. And,
Wow. When did you stop
finally
participating? Like, how close to your EAS before you stopped participating in the workup to the next deployment?
it was constant, man.
Jeez.
It was constant up until probably, I want to say like maybe 2 months, 3 months out.
Fuck.
So I think I did like almost 4 months still like in the workup, and then I had 2 months to where I didn't have to go to the field anymore because I was taking that math class or whatever. You can go back and do basically I would go to math class like it was preparing me for college because I thought I wanted to use my GI Bill right when I got out.
Right.
Plus it was something to get the fuck out of the battalion.
Yeah.
So,
I get it.
So yeah, I went to MASP. That's what it's called. MASP, like something seminar transition. But yeah, I was basically going to like math class like 3 times a week, all day. I'd come back and I'd have to like let so and so know that I was like back from class. Anything else. So I took advantage of that. And I did that for a while, but they still wouldn't let me go to TRS. I didn't go to TRS until TRS is a week long.
Yeah.
I think I had 3 weeks left in the Marine Corps, and I had 2 weeks left in the Marine Corps. I had TRS, and then the following week was the last week I had to do all my return and checkout, and then I was fucking out.
Yeah.
I had.
Did you have any sort of plan arranged for when you were getting out, or like what was your mindset right before you got out?
So in Syria, I thought about the possibility of reenlistment. Briefly thought about it because, halfway through the Marine Corps, I was like, "Fuck this! I'm getting out. Out." And you have a plan, and then you're like, you have that set for so long, and then you're like, fuck, that's not going to work. Or you find something you don't like about it, and you scratch that plan, you find something. So I was going through that phase, and then, I went through the thought of re-enlistment phase, and I was like, if I could go somewhere where I could like deploy immediately or go on like a badass MU where I could travel all, like a European MU, like if it was guaranteed, I'd fucking probably do it. Like at least. So I put a package in just to see my option.
Right.
And they basically told me the only option was to go to like Lejeune and do like a Japan MU workup. And I was like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
So I decided to get out. And I had a brief plan. But as you know, nothing ever
Oh,
goes the
I
way you
know.
want it
Trust
to.
me, I know.
So, I had planned to get out. Honestly, I had no fucking clue, but I was going to try to start somewhere. I thought about like the fire department,
Right.
do something, help others, be a part of something bigger than myself kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I knew I didn't want to move back home. And I knew that I knew some friends that I grew up with that lived in Atlanta. And, I was like, city, never lived in a city. There's opportunity in a city.
Yeah.
I know some people there. Fuck it, let's send it. Yeah, I went to Atlanta with the hopes of joining the fire department, and I was going to go the whole EMT, AEMT paramedic route,
Right.
and then with the thought of possibly going into like nursing,
Right.
because after in Syria we got to see a lot of like the casualty care and all that stuff, and shit's just kind of fascinating to me, seeing people so messed up and seeing what we can do to like
To fucking save
fix
them.
them and save
Yeah.
them. Yeah, it's fucking wild. Seeing guys' chest cavities just wide open,
Jesus.
still alive, just insane shit. Insane shit. Just not, you wouldn't think it's possible. But that kind of all fell apart. So I signed up for the fire department class. I'd actually met a few police officers through the side work that I was doing at the time, and they had me set up where, I knew some people. They were putting my name at the top of the list, basically.
Right.
But I missed the cutoff by like a few days or something, so they had to roll me back to the next class, and I was like one of the first names on the list for the next class, but it was 4 or 5 months away. So I was like, okay, like I'll wait, whatever. During that time, I was just grinding, man, hustling. Like I told you before,
Yeah.
just kind of found my own way, found some opportunities that kind of, you know, I was valeting cars right when I moved to Atlanta and working as a security guy at a bar, bouncing basically, just hustling, doing anything I could for some.
Yeah.
And it was a rough it was a rough first year for sure, and then it didn't get any easier after that
What would you
first
say
year.
made it so hard?
I had some friends from back home that was cool, just
Yeah.
living with them. You know, one of them was like we're really close, so
Right.
that was cool. The other one, our friendship's kind of been just kind of rocky. We knew each other when we were really young, and then we didn't see each other for a long time through like middle and high school, and then we saw each other again briefly before I joined the Marine Corps, um, and then I didn't really see him during the Marine Corps, and then back out again.
Yeah.
So I had those guys, and I had a few other people that I knew that lived up there that I could go, hang out with or whatnot. But I think the initial realization of like this fucking sucks is when I couldn't walk down the hall and go and be with fucking 10 of my best friends like right then and
Yeah.
just everyone that I had gotten so close to and formed these friendships, these relationships with, and then just like blink of an eye,
Gone.
everyone fucking separates and everyone's gone. It's just kind of mind fucking that
It's weird.
you know certain people in your life can mean so much to you, and then everyone just goes in their own separate way,
Just
goes
yeah.
into
Go on their
you
own
try to
path.
keep in touch with as many people as you, but it's just hard.
Oh,
Everyone's doing their own thing now. I work fucking crazy hours, so I'm always working
yeah.
weekends and holidays. That's my busiest time.
Yeah.
I have like Monday, Tuesdays off. Whenever I'm off work, people are at work or vice versa.
Right. I mean, we've been trying to
It's
set
hard
this
to
up for some time, you know.
yeah, yeah, it's hard to, plus I just made this move, so it's hard to keep in touch with those guys. I try to make phone calls. I try to call certain people at least like bare minimum like once a month. I try just to, and not even, it doesn't have to be a deep conversation. Just, yo man, how's it going? What's up? What you been doing?
Right.
Oh yeah, this is where I'm at. Fucking share some old story or
Yeah.
something. And okay, all right, man. I love you.
Have you had anybody reach out to you when and not like just to bullshit, but because they were going through some difficult times? Or do you think we just don't
Not,
like to share it?
I think it's always kind of, yeah. I think a lot of people keep that shit inside, man.
Yeah.
I've had some talks with people that started out as just casual conversations that kind of hinted at some things. You could tell something was off about it, but people don't like to be direct about some things like that and their struggles and fear of feeling weak and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, people have reached out to me just to chat or talk or to set up some kind of meeting or something.
Yeah.
There's actually, yeah, one person has reached out to me. Now that I think about it, one person has reached out to me and we do talk about the shit here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How would you say did you just talk to him about your own circumstances and your own experiences, or what? Like how did you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open about it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Even even random people that ask me, I'll tell them straight up what I think is the problem. 22 a day,
What do you think is the
suicide.
problem?
I don't think it's so much PTSD and all that stuff. Certain levels of PTSD that plays into it for sure.
Sure.
And then the biggest, at least to me, the biggest aspect is just not having people to talk to, like people to relate to, like at least on that level of experience and the depth of the situations that we encountered. Because I find myself telling some people ask me, oh, what did you do over there? And I'm telling them,
That's it. Yeah, that's all. That's where it goes. It doesn't go anywhere else. There's really no. I mean, it's so much easier to talk to someone about these things where they can actually understand what the fuck they're talking about. Where they have some sort of idea. Because if you really think about it, a lot of these people, majority of these people, have no idea what the fuck
no
any
clue,
sort of that
man.
experience.
And it's not
Nope,
it's not their fault at
not at
all.
all.
You can't blame them. You can't get mad at them. You can't be that guy that's like,
No.
this civilian doesn't know shit. They don't know what living in 130 degrees is like or whatever. But they don't deserve that.
They don't.
They're ignorant, but
Yeah.
it's not their fault, so
Right.
you can't hold it against them. But yeah, I think it's just people don't truly understand, I guess, the mental attack it takes.
Yeah.
How it wears you down over time, and then, like I said, just all those small contributing factors. Friends going separate ways, and a culture shock. So I think it's a lot to do with friends going separate ways and not seeing guys that you fucking saw every day, for months, years at a time. Maybe you never see them again. So that definitely fucks with you a little bit. But then I also think it has a lot to do. I think a lot of people struggle because the Marine Corps gave them like a false sense of security almost. So, if
I
you look
wouldn't
at
say
it,
it was a false sense. I think it was almost like an actual blanket for a lot of people.
well, I guess the way that I look at it is, we had a room to sleep in, and I had a roof over my head, and I could eat chow at the chow hall.
Yeah.
I had the necessity for survival.
Yeah.
Granted, they were taking out of my fucking paycheck. That's what we got paid, fucking $3 an hour. But but yeah, I had that, so I could go off base on a 96, and I could spend my freaking $1,000 paycheck.
And you'd be okay.
And I'd come back with fucking nothing, and I'd be able to, survive and make it through the next one. And over time, especially after coming back from deployments with $20,000 to $40,000 in my bank account at 21 years old, like thinking I'm rich as hell.
Yeah.
Seeing how fast that shit goes. it definitely put into perspective for me the value and the importance of money. So when I got out, I had money saved up and I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. I think people get out and they still have that mentality, or they come back with that $40,000 check. And I know guys that were buying $60,000 trucks right when we got back. Just you can't afford that, and they're
Yeah.
still just doing it, and they get out with those payments and those interest rates, this and that. And
Yeah.
people kind of do it to themselves, but it's almost to the Marine Corps' fault because
Dude, it's
they
it's
don't
it's 22
they
year
don't
olds with
prepare.
$25,000. Like
Yeah,
they have
they
no
don't prepare you
guidance.
for that at all.
Yeah, the only guidance
And
they have is the Marine Corps. You get them right after
anybody
high school.
anybody trying to get out is, getting this guidance from some staff sergeant or gunny who's only known the Marine Corps. They don't know what it's like to get out, so how the
Exactly.
fuck do they know?
Yeah.
So it's just all kinds of fucked. And then most people don't really have, most people have some good parents to turn to, but there's a lot of people, especially in the Marine Corps, that don't have any kind of faith, any kind
Yeah.
of just, I knew there was I remember some corpsman came in and he EAS, but he was still like sleeping in the barracks because he didn't have anywhere to go.
Oh,
Like he
who
said
was
that
it?
he was like Doc Ortiz.
Oh, right. Yeah. Ortiz.
Yeah. But he was like 3 weeks after his DD 214 and EAS, like they found him still in the barracks.
Damn, dude. Poor
Like,
guy.
so great. He didn't even speak like any English
Yeah,
whatsoever.
just barely.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just shit like that, man. They really just kind of just send people to the winds.
Peace.
And it's
Yeah.
just
Good
like,
luck.
yeah, you did
That's
your
it.
time. Thanks.
Wouldn't it be
And
cool? It'd be cool, but it'd be weird. I had this idea, but I'm still not too sure on how firm this idea is. But maybe like a specific rep from whatever, let's just say from 2-7, somebody we know, somebody we recognize, checks up on you. It'd be weird, right? But would that be kind of? Do you think that could potentially help in any form of way? Like if they still did something, at least, because you're still technically 4 years in there, right? After you get out, you're still doing your inactive uh, reserve shit, kind of.
I don't know. I get the concept,
Yeah. Again,
but
not a
I don't.
solid idea, not a solid idea, but
I think it would. I think it would force people away even further. To be
fuck
honest,
yeah, I'd be
especially
like, get the fuck out of here.
if it was something organized coming from the Marine Corps, coming from
Yeah,
2-7.
yeah,
It's almost kind of like the whole sense like this person doesn't really give a fuck about me. I'm just a
yeah,
check in the box. So why the fuck am I going to
right,
talk to them? I
yeah,
think it does have to be somebody that
that's
you're
fair.
close to or have some kind of connection to.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I can see
I don't
that.
know. At least
Especially
that's
when
at least that's my opinion.
No, no, no. I agree. I agree. Because I pitched this idea to a friend of mine. He's like, "Well, would you like fucking somebody from your old unit calling you up?" And
But
and I was like, you know what? You're right. I wouldn't.
yeah, I mean, you get the fucking prior service recruiter text message or hey, this is Gunner Sergeant so and so.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we're
yeah.
just like, nah, bro, fuck
Nope.
off, no,
Yeah.
no shot, no shot,
Yeah. No. No
no
way.
shot.
What would you say are some of the best things that you got out of the Marine Corps?
For myself personally,
Yeah.
it would have to be like the discipline side of it, self discipline. Just because I only had that really with football beforehand, and
Yeah.
I didn't have it like full encompassing my life. So now it's more, I'm more disciplined in work, my personal life, working out, eating,
Yeah.
just everything across the board. Granted, I work crazy hours, so I fall off sometimes,
Fuck
but
yeah.
plus the whole COVID kind of threw me off as well.
Same.
This year's been nuts to
Yeah.
say the least, but yeah, just self discipline, man, and really just I was the type of person where I only looked out for myself beforehand, before the Marine Corps. I didn't really care how my actions affected other people,
Sure.
but going through the Marine Corps, seeing how something something that I could do, something so simple, as not having my head up when I'm supposed to, or anything could possibly harm myself or one of my fucking friends,
Yeah.
somebody that I was supposed to look out for. You're just responsible for a lot more than just yourself, and kind of gives you a different perspective of life. Life's not all about you.
Yeah.
There's so many other people that are, you know, they're looking through, seeing the same things that you are, but just from a different angle,
Just a different
So,
angle. Yeah.
so it kind of puts that into perspective, and just made me a lot better of a person, a lot more of a caring person, I guess.
Yeah.
It did wonders for me. It really did.
Yeah.
If you knew me before, if you knew me beforehand, especially if you go back to my hometown, anybody that knew me beforehand that knows, it's like a 180 flip. There's some people that, like, I don't, you're still Taylor, but you're a completely different person
Yeah.
growing up. So
I think you have a bunch of different lifestyles that affect you, and you get to see a bunch of, like, while you're in the Marine Corps, you see a bunch of different cultures and different behaviors, and then you kind of pick and choose, and you take a little bit of everything. And I mean, you have a lot of great leaders. We have a lot of terrible leaders, but we also have a lot of fucking amazing leaders in the Marine Corps, where you can pick up a lot of shit from them too. And I think that's it kind of sucks because I try to compare it out here and it just doesn't work out here. That thing is non-existent out here when it comes to,
like, good.
Yeah, that
good
good
and
leader,
bad leadership?
that great, no, just that different type of military leadership when it comes to a manager, or because it's not the same concept, It's it's two different worlds, I think.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
I can see. I've been fortunate enough. I do have some great leaders now. I had some great leaders in the Corps. I also had some shitty ones.
Yeah.
Some really, really shitty ones. But you got to have the shitty ones to figure out who are the good ones.
Yeah,
and,
one of those great ones.
The great ones, not just the good ones. Yeah, for sure. And then to be able to, if you want to come into a leadership position yourself, you got to have the shitty leaders in your life to pick and choose what to fucking do. Pick the good to what to do, and then you can build your own character, your own leadership style. So, but yeah, I've been lucky. Sorry for you, not don't have any good mentors or leadership.
Yeah.
Like right now in the civilian world, I'm fortunate enough to where I do. So
that's good.
I think it just comes with time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just varies. I think if you just run into the right people, then they'll take care of you. So when you were going through those difficult times when you got out of the Marine Corps initially, what would you say helped you get through them? Like if somebody was in your position, right? Like if you're talking to if you're talking to somebody who was in your position that you were dealing with that shit, like what would you be like? Hey, you should probably try this, or you could try that. What would you recommend?
So personally, for me,
for you,
I had a lot of trouble. I would say a lot of my trouble came right before I got out, to be honest. And then I experienced some afterwards, but it was still in that, I guess, lingering phase of like, I know I'm getting out, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay.
Right.
My EAS is getting closer and closer and closer. I had really bad anxiety.
Shit.
Just constantly wondering what the fuck was going to happen. What was I going to do? Was I going to find a job? Was my situation going to work out? Just all these thoughts in my head.
Right.
There were times I didn't fucking sleep. There was a time where I didn't sleep for like 3 or 4 days, man.
Damn.
I would lay in bed and just, my head was just going crazy with thoughts. And I'd like open my eyes and I would lay there with my eyes closed, just thinking about so many things.
Yeah.
And maybe I was asleep, but it was like my brain was still on.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And I would roll over and look at the clock, and it would be like 3 a.m. I'd be up and fucking going to sleep. I'm going to wake up. So that was like a continual process. I was trying to quit smoking cigarettes at the time too. So I was taking Chantix, I think it was. So that probably fucked with my
Oh, definitely.
chemical imbalance in my
Yeah.
brain too.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of shit going on. But then whenever I got out, just not having people to relate to, not really having people to talk to, turned to the bottle a little bit for sure,
Yeah.
drinking some. And then I've never been a huge drinker unless I'm around somebody's from the Marine Corps, then
Of
we'll
course.
put them down for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but really, just the only way that I could focus on it or not focus on it when I got out was going to the gym, hitting the gym all the time, and then just working. I worked a lot. I was working a lot. I moved to Atlanta, so I got out December 13th,
Yeah.
2018. I went home with my parents for Christmas, and then I moved to Atlanta New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2018, and I worked my first shift that night. I got done unpacking my shit at like 6 o'clock at night, and I worked my first shift that night,
Damn.
like 3 hours later. And then it was just a continual grind, working 2 jobs, stuff on the side, just every day, rarely a day off, if that. If it was my day off, I was doing side work.
Jeez. Were you
Just
just trying to focus on making money? Is that where your goal was, or just stay busy?
it started off as a money thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be financially free and financially secure.
Right.
But then over time, when I would be at home by myself, not really doing much or not having anyone to talk to or anything like that, that's, I wanted to get my mind off of those thoughts. So, I'd go to the gym or, what I found even more consistent that I could do even longer was just going to work and just fucking working.
Yeah. Get paid
Um,
for it. Yeah.
yeah, and get paid for it. So that's just what I did, man. Literally I would wake up in the morning and I would go and valet cars all day. And then I would get off, go home, hit the gym real quick,
Yeah.
hop in the shower, and then drive to my other job and then work all through the night.
Yo,
Get,
dude, you
get
stayed
home,
fucking busy.
get home at, 5:30 in the morning, and then wake right back up at 10 and go and valet cars again all day.
Damn.
Keep it going.
You're
But yeah,
grinding, man. You're grinding.
that's what I did personally.
Damn.
But yeah, and then even if you do try to talk to certain people, like I said beforehand, they don't really understand. They don't get it. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say talking to a brick wall, but
It's just talking to somebody who doesn't really. It's just a whole different.
that or they think, it's something, I share an experience,
Yeah.
just something that happened, and I'm like, yeah, so and so, this happened, this and this, and people look at me like you're
What
fucking crazy.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Like,
Yeah.
how could you think that's like normal? I'm like, well, it was normal for me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't anything
So,
wild.
but to them, it's like that's the most wildest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, they're like they give you weird looks. It's
No,
again, it's honestly two different worlds. It's just the perspectives are just so fucking different compared to some things that go on while you're in the fucking military. Um, well, man. One last thing. Do you have anything you want to say to anybody out there, or anything you want to throw out there to the people?
I'll just say that if you're struggling with anything, don't hesitate to reach out because I think everyone is struggling in their own ways.
Yeah.
We've had a few guys from 2-7 unfortunately take their lives. Had a few junior Marines that have said some things that have worried me a little bit, or posted some stuff on Facebook. But any of y'all that are listening, don't feel fucking ashamed about any. You're fortunate enough to do have people that can relate to you,
Yeah.
and luckily they're only a phone call or a text away. And it doesn't. Everyone gets that whole, because even I do it. I'm like, I want to call this person, but I don't want to interrupt what they've got going on or bother them, anything like that. But 9 out of 10 times, and whenever I see someone giving me a call, it makes my fucking day.
Yeah.
So fucking call me, and anybody. That goes for anybody. And I will definitely, I may not always answer immediately, but I'll always get back to you for sure.
Yeah.
I would just say that's the biggest thing. Don't hesitate. Just try to check up on your brothers too. Not even if it's something you need to vent about. Call just to check up on them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. That's something that, as difficult as, like we said it is, because everybody's got their own life going on and everything's fucking, world's moving, you know, it doesn't stop for anybody. Try to reach out every once in a while. It's fucking. I personally, like you said, I personally enjoy hearing from other people. You know, from other guys, especially 2-7. You know, they got a soft spot. You know, like you said, reach out. You know, it might not be the most comfortable thing to do, but fuck, it helps, man. It helps. Just talking about it is awesome. But again, dude, thank you for being on here. I appreciate you coming on and us finally scheduling this. I had a good time, and yeah, we'll be in touch, dude. Everybody, thanks for watching.
Anytime,
Adios.